Hello everyone and welcome to DNQ Football, where today we're doing a quick roundup, a quick recap of the CONCACAF Nations League so far. Not as many goals as maybe we were expecting, but still very entertaining games. Ryan, what have you made of it so far?
Enjoyed it, mate. Enjoyed it. I mean, quite funny. Mentioned this on the live stream. The third reason as to why we love the CONCACAF Nations League, I think I even did something like goals, and we've not had many goals. We've had tighter matches, really, and I think that is probably down to the fact now that it's the second edition of the Nations League, and teams have been promoted and relegated, and we've got some more even matchups. Nonetheless, really enjoyed it so far. So we thought we'd just come on and do a quick chat through, and then we'll sort of talk about when we're next doing another live stream. But I've enjoyed it so far, mate. I've enjoyed it so far. I missed some of the games last night, and I know you caught a bit of the Montserrat Guyana game. So I thought, should we kind of start there and work back, or do you want to start kind of at the start and then sort of work through? I guess it's up to you, mate. It's up to you.
Why don't we talk briefly about last night, and then we'll kind of go over some of the key results, maybe, or some of the key upsets and things like that. So
good shout.
Last night was all of that group, League B, Group B, in terms of you had Bermuda versus Haiti. Now, I've been doing some predictions, some little reels, TikToks, and things like that on the predictions.
How have you been doing?
I'm not doing too bad.
I know.
I think it's been difficult because I've got some results wrong where I've said like 1-1 and it's been like 2-1. I've got one result bang on, which is good. But I mean, generally, You've not been a million miles away, have you? You've not been a million miles away. I've only been a million miles away on like the Turks and Caicos Islands one, because I obviously wanted them to win, so I said that they would win, and they didn't. But we'll get to that. But I didn't do any for the games yesterday because I was obviously I was out. But I would have said Haiti win, honestly, and I would have probably said a draw in the other game, in the Montserrat Guyana game. And so for Bermuda to walk away from that, Haiti probably favourites in that group, really, in terms of just the sheer number of like good quality professionals in the higher leagues in France, in particular. For them to walk away with a point, I think is really, really good. And Montserrat will be disappointed. The Emerald boys, obviously we've spoken to them a lot on the channel. 1-0 up. The kid came on for Guyana and just turned up. He just turned up the heat, and what a free kick goal. And ultimately, Guyana turned it around. That's an amazing point for them.
Amazing three. The fact that Guyana will come away from that with the 3 points, and earlier in the day, Bermuda held Haiti to a 0-0. That is huge for Guyana, and they play Bermuda next. So imagine if they can go there and get some sort of result. I think they played Bermuda at home, but Montserrat, from what I've seen of the highlights since, looked quite in control of that game, actually. Created quite a few chances, went 1-0 up, and ran out of steam. Glasgow for Guyana scores an incredible free kick to make it 1-1, and then Bloss to finish at the near post to win it. But massive result for Guyana, which has been helped by Bermuda's insane result against Haiti. And Group B, even after one match day, I feel like that's then suddenly it feels all to play for, which is exciting. We spoke about that as one of our. I think we said that was our favourite group in League B. So it's cool to see that sort of start with a couple of really great results.
I think it blows the group wide open, doesn't it? That's kind of what we're looking for. If Haiti had won and the other game was a draw, all of a sudden Haiti are 2 points clear of everyone, and they are favourites anyway. Now it's a different kind of situation. You know, Bermuda will also fancy their chances of potentially getting that kind of Gold Cup place that the winner gets, and even there's an element of like runner-up in this group isn't too bad because you have a shout. But I mean, Guyana have obviously been to the Gold Cup before, but they'd love to get there again, and they've got off to the perfect start.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that was yesterday, which was the 4th of June when we're recording this. This will go live at some point next week, won't it, mate? And then kind of, I guess, sort of working back, everything started on the 2nd, didn't it? Loads of games on the 2nd of June. League B, Group A, Antigua and Barbuda got an insane late winner against Barbados. We predicted the two of those to be the two that would be battling it out for the relegation spot. Huge win for Antigua and Barbuda, a late Philip goal for them. Guadeloupe got an insane win against Cuba. Again, we predicted those two to be the two battling it at the top.
Yeah.
So they're late Ambrose winner.
That's the game I predicted correctly, that one.
Yes, yeah, you did. Absolutely nailed that. But that's still a great result for them.
Yeah.
So that puts Guadeloupe and Antigua as the top two teams in that group, of course, after only one match day, but still a great result for both those sides. That was the second. There were so many games on the second. We also had League B Group D, French Guiana beating Guatemala 2-0. Were you surprised at that one?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are surprised by the Guadeloupe-Cuba result. I think people do underestimate these non-FIFA nations, but I sort of, as you know, I did predict it, but I thought that would be a close game, and I thought Guadeloupe would edge it. I do think Guadeloupe could even do the League C, League B, League A jump because they are that good a side. But French Guiana, no disrespect to them, I've seen Guatemala play, and they're good. Yeah. And I really thought at least a draw, if not a Guatemala win. So that's a very poor result for them.
Yeah, but I mean, fair play to French Guiana. That's an incredible result, real turn up for the books. When I was, I'm not, you know, we don't condone gambling or anything on this channel, but before the tournament, I looked at the first day's matches and the odds, because I always quite like to have a look, because I like to think that we've got a little bit of knowledge about these nations. To see kind of how that matches up with what the bookies sort of put for who's favourite in that. And all of the games that you kind of expect, so like Guatemala and like Dominica in League C, which we'll come on to, massive, like they were favourites, well, you know, massive favourites. So that result was a huge turn up. Also in that group, Belize at home lost 2-0 to Dom Rep.
Yeah.
Kind of expected, really, you know.
They were.
I think we said Belize would. Did we predict Belize to?
I think Belize will go down. I think Belize will go down, and I love Belize. I think they're a brilliant nation. They're just, unfortunately for them, they're one of the best League C sides, and now they're in League B, and so they're going to really struggle. You know, comparatively in World Cup qualifiers, they beat the Turks and Caicos Islands, who are a proper League C type team. They beat them, 5-0. And I can't remember what their result was against Haiti, actually. They played Haiti. I think they only lost 2-0 in the World Cup qualifiers as well. So
I think you're right.
They are probably going to lose most games, probably by a small margin. I think any win for them is worth celebrating in this because they are up against really good teams. Dom Rep are a really good side. And 2-0's not a bad result. And they had a few flashes of half chances as well. So hopefully they can build on that.
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah, they had that near post header off the bar, didn't they? Belize in that one. I think the score might have only been 1-0 at the time as well, which is an important period of the game. And then just finally on League B so far. Sorry, just quickly, caveat. If anyone's made it this far into the video and thought, why are these guys not talking about League A? That's the wrong channel. We don't. The wrong channel. We're League B, League C, Minnow Nations.
Yeah. This is what I know I'm wearing a Suriname cap, but this is style purposes only. I'm not going to be talking about it. Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah.
It's quite a cool cap. Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot. And then the biggest upset so far in League B, probably you'd say, was League B Group C, where we had Nicaragua 2, Trinidad and Tobago 1. Great result for Nicaragua. That good crowd at that game, wasn't it? The atmosphere always looks insane there. But then we had Bahamas 1, St Vincent and the Grenadines 0.
Huge. And
result. We caught the last half an hour of that one, didn't we, on our live stream? Saw the penalty from Leslie St Fleur, and then watched what seemed
classy performance.
It was very. Was it comfortable in the end for Bahamas? They didn't have much of the ball, mate. But SVG just didn't. They just couldn't get through them. They couldn't find. They couldn't penetrate. They couldn't get combinations through the midfield third into the attacking third, and they couldn't get in behind them. They just really struggled to lay a glove on them, I found. We're
talking. I think the lowest ranked team in League B in Bahamas.
They are. Definitely. Yeah.
You know, a very, very lowly ranked side. They're part of the 200 club, obviously because we did our stream and mentioned a few of their players. But what a result that is. It's unbelievable. I don't know if it will be topped in terms of that kind of upset because they've given themselves now at least a chance to not go down because SVG aren't going to be battering the other teams in the group. I figured that Bahamas would come bottom and SVG would be one place above them. So this really puts the cat amongst the pigeons. And what a penalty! And then the result, the performance afterwards, like you say, they were never really in trouble. I didn't feel like they were ever in trouble. It was classy, well disciplined. They time wasted in the right way. It was a brilliant result.
Yeah, massive hats off to them. So League B, really, really enjoying it so far. Can't wait for the next match day, to be honest. And to be honest, it's the same with League C.
Yeah.
And the first game, one of the first games in League C, we're going to start with one of the biggest shocks so far, which was Anguilla 0, Dominica 0. That was on the second, which was on that first day of loads of games. I never saw that result coming. We said in the prediction about Anguilla about how they've been putting in a lot of effort, been having UK training camps, really having more kind of touch points as a squad, and therefore building more team cohesion, and therefore we thought that they would be more competitive, be harder to break down, and they wouldn't be losing anything heavy. They'd be, I think, in the pre-match or the pre-tourno kind of predictions, we said that they'd be losing maybe 2-0, kind of, they'd be sort of in with a shout, but to go the whole way and to grind out that 0-0 against Dominica, just never saw it coming, and massive shout out to them.
Yeah, I watched periods of the game, and I was a bit like, because obviously I predicted a Dominica win. I think I even said like 2-0 or something like that. I just thought it would be, I thought that Anguilla would be tough to break down based on what we've seen, defensive discipline, and the fact that they are the underdogs, so they would always kind of try and park the bus. And I was watching quite an even game. And I don't know, I think that Anguilla played brilliantly, and I think that Dominica played poorly. But listen, when that kind of situation presents itself for Anguilla, you gotta get out there and get the point. And they did. Clean sheet.
What will be huge, mate? What will be really interesting is today, the day we're recording this, it's the return leg. It's the return. Yeah. So Dominica are at home to Anguilla.
Yeah.
It'll be so interesting to see what the scoreline is there.
Mm-hmm.
Will Dominica at home at Warner Park? Will they? Oh, actually, no. Sorry, that's not at home. Dominica are playing in St Kitts for that one. I didn't realise that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so some of the games it's difficult, isn't it? Some of the games are like proper home games, and then others, like we saw, like Montserrat were playing in. I think they were playing in Domrep.
Yeah, what's strange is on the 5th of June when they play Anguilla, they're playing at Warner Park in St Kitts, but on the 9th they're at home to St Lucia, and they are playing at Windsor Park.
Yeah.
In Dominica. Interesting. Anyway,
maybe it's to do with like flights and travel.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not that easy in that region, is it? You know what's really interesting, actually? This has nothing to do... Well, it does have something to do with the Nations League, but it's not that important. BVI versus the Cayman Islands. Instead of playing both... They've got a double-header, essentially.
Yeah.
They played in the British Virgin Islands, and now they're all flying to the Cayman Islands.
yeah, they are.
And you just think, why don't you just play both games on like a neutral ground?
Yeah, I know. It's just one of them, isn't it?
It's not very environmentally friendly, I might argue.
No.
Oh well.
Sustainability is at the heart of what we do here.
Well, to be fair, it's sponsored by Qatar Airways, isn't it? So
yeah. So true. Yeah.
What can you say?
They're probably getting Qatar Airways flights over from the BVI to
proper Boeings and that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that kind of nicely moves on. Should we go? Well, yeah, we will. We'll go from League C, Group C to League C, Group D. Almost a tongue twister there. And we saw the British Virgin Islands, my favourite minnow nation, claim their first ever CONCACAF Nations League point with a 1-1 draw against the Caymans, and they will take that. The offside. Well, we thought the goal. Troy Caesar with a goal for the BVI. Good header. We thought he was potentially offside, and then I did feel the Caymans. You know, I felt like they deserved their equaliser though, mate.
Yeah, I think that I think the point was a fair result because although the Caymans dominated the possession and maybe had a few more chances towards the end of the game after they'd equalised because they kind of had that momentum, scoring with about 10 minutes to go. I think you have to credit the tactical approach of the British Virgin Islands, and I think that they are going to cause the Caymans and even Puerto Rico trouble because if they hit areas and win corners and win throw-ins, it's difficult for any team to defend. You know, it's like Jerry Wilshere is taller than a lot of people, so he's going to win a lot of headers. And when you can throw it to the other side of the box, and we have to say fair play to the set pieces. Weirdly, they scored from probably the worst corner that they actually took. It's like the rest of the deliveries were pinpoint, but they got their game plan down. the Caymans were good on the ball. They did play well. And I think a draw was a fair result.
Yeah, indeed. And then if we just rattle through groups A and B quickly. Group B, great result. Sint Maarten 0, Aruba 0. Again, as we touched on at the start, we're not seeing a glut of goals, but again, Sint Maarten will be happy with that 0-0. I was surprised at that. I thought Aruba would win that match, but we will see again tomorrow, return leg of that one, because these groups only have 3 teams. The kind of the first matchup is almost like a double legger between the 2 sides. So see what that return leg, what score that is. Group A, as we've sort of floated it as potentially the best group across leagues B and C because of just pure passion. Bonaire, USVI, Sint Maarten and Turks and Caicos Islands. Sint Maarten 1, US Virgin Islands 1, and then Turks and Caicos Islands 1, Bonaire 4. The probably the biggest, the most goals in a single match so far. I think that one. A good result for Sint Maarten. I never know if it's Sint Maarten. Apologies.
That one's Sint Maarten because that's Dutch. Okay. Sint Maarten is French. Obviously, but both of those are a bit of an Englishization of saying it because. Thank you very much. Because obviously one of them will be said with a French twist, and the other with a Dutch twist. But to us, it's Sint Maarten is French, and then Sint Maarten is the Dutch one.
So 1-1 draw against USVI. I actually thought. Again, we caught the last. We dipped in and out of that one. Looked a good game actually. I thought there was some good quality in that game. And then Turks and Caicos Islands 1, Bonaire 4 that we watched a fair bit of. As you've got a bit of a Turks and Caicos fan, my friend, and a bad result for your boys in what was quite an even game. But Bonaire was so clinical, and Cecilia for Bonaire with a hat trick in that one was great. Yeah,
I think that the Nations League is an opportunity for top players. Force really these small nations like Cecilia seems to be for Bonaire to rack up some goals, and he's banged a hat. He's probably now put himself in a really good position to be one of the top scorers across the whole of League C because it's not been a very high scoring match day one, and he looks like a real talent, and it's not a group with that much quality defensively. That's not meant disrespectfully to any of the sides in there, but Bonaire will get goals. They seem to play. They played like quite counter-attacking, considering they were playing the Turks and Caicos Islands. But you know what? If you've got a system and it works, why not? Every time they attack, they posed a threat. Turks and Caicos Islands had a lot of the ball in essentially useless positions, and just weren't able to. Anytime they tried to get the ball forward to Billy Forbes, obviously their best player, they couldn't. And and so Bonaire were tactically better. I was disappointed with some of the goals, to be honest. It was almost 5-0 from an absolute worldie goal, but that was just offside. And then, ended up 4-1. Good to get a goal. But
Shand Jr.?
Yeah, Shand Jr. Really good to see him on the score sheet. I don't think he'll then get a starting place in the next game. You know what? The Turks and Caicos Islands is so difficult because they're still without a few key players. But I honestly don't want to talk about it too much because that's not what this is about. But there are a couple of players away, a couple of players or really good performances from players away from being a really decent side, and I hope that in their games against USVI and Sint Maarten, they played against Sint Maarten in the last Nations League and did beat them both times, so I'm hoping for some wins because otherwise Anguilla are going to overtake them in the FIFA World Rankings. And then kind of just looking ahead, we've got it's the 5th today. We've got the return leg of Dominica Anguilla. Anguilla, apologies. Guatemala, Belize, Cuba, Barbados tomorrow. Loads of games tomorrow. Nicaragua, USVI, TCA, Bonaire, Sint Maarten, Cayman's, BVI. Loads of games. When's our next watch along then, mate? So we're recording this on the 5th. This video will go out on the 6th, and we are then live streaming again on the 7th. So I'm not going to say kind of like what time because it won't mean anything to you if you're watching from the US or that part of the world. But essentially, there's the double header of games in League B, Group B. It kicks off with Guyana, Bermuda, and that's we're going to be streaming both the games then, So a great double header to enjoy on the 7th. So join us for that if you can.
Yes, sounds good, my friend. Sounds good. And that's all for us for now for this kind of very quick fire CONCACAF Nations League catch-up.
Yeah, nice little bit of a roundup. And we hope to see many of you on the live stream on the 7th. And we also hope, of course, as ever, for more goals.
Yeah,
so,
love it.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and why not watch the CONCACAF playlist that's about to pop up on the screen. And we will see you next time.